Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of News in Motion. Today is Wednesday, October 25th, 2023, and you are tuning in live here at 7:25 a.m. for News in Motion. I see you, Miss Adrian. She is already up in the room, y'all, on YouTube. She is saying good morning. It's already hump day. Yes, it is hump day. It is Wednesday. Woo Wednesday, whatever you want to call it, hump day, well spoken Wednesday. We are in the middle of the week. And also, she says, smash that like button. Be sure to tell a friend that you are tuning into News in Motion. Good morning to you, Miss Deborah Johnson, who is tuning in through Facebook. How has everyone's week been so far? We are in the middle of the week. I feel like the week just goes by when you start working. I don't know I don't know if that's true or not, but the week just goes by so fast when you're working, and the weekend too. The weekend definitely goes by fast when you're working. So I guess they say it's true. What they're saying is true. Enjoy your weekend because that thing will zoom right past you. For our audio and podcast listeners, we just want to say thank you for tuning in and turning your dials to NIM Today for your relevant commentary and call to action news. Whether you are tuning in through audio and podcast, or if you are tuning in through Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, we just want to say thank you for all your support. Be sure that you grab your tickets for the Color Purple showing that News in Motion is doing. We are having a private showing, y'all, and we're doing it 2 weeks early. Where else are you going to get this from besides News in Motion and Miss Gail Dudley? So make sure that you give Miss Gail Dudley her flowers. Be sure that you say thank you. And also be sure to grab your merch when you go vote. And it's important to go vote, especially in the state of Ohio, on issue 1. Be sure to vote on issue 1 if you are in the state of Ohio. Good morning, Miss Shardinia, and good morning, Miss Jackie. How are y'all doing today on this wonderful Wednesday, well-spoken Wednesday, whatever you want to call it? It's hump day, y'all. So without further delay, y'all know what we do over here. Let's get ready for some news in motion.
News in motion.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I can't help but say these words. Isaiah, I think I'm rubbing off on Isaiah. Y'all hear him really go all in about voting? I love it. 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 I see you, Deborah Sneed. I see you, Jackie. Isaiah, Jackie said, how are you, Isaiah? Adrian's loving the music. I am too. Good morning, Lori Wallace. Good morning, Shirley Nicholson. Good morning, Dr. Antoinette. Good morning to my brother, Louis Pryor III. Good morning to all of you. Just a good Wednesday hump day morning to you. Listen, if you're tuning in now and you want to see what's at the end, I'm going to be sharing something for entrepreneurs and small business owners, especially those of us who are Black and Latino. Y'all, it's hot off the press from the White House. You don't want to miss this. So I had to scrap some news and throw this in here. This is what happens when you're doing the news live and you're doing what we call aggregated news, where we're pulling it from different directions, going through all the alerts. I was like, say what? When I saw this piece from the White House, I got real excited. Real excited. It popped up early. Y'all, today is Wednesday, October the 25th, 2023. I am your host, Gail Dudley. To all of our new viewers or listeners out there, good morning to you. We are going into our 4th year. Actually, June 2024 will be year 4. Can y'all believe it? Now, the question is, are we going to remain on the air with everything that's going on? Our goal is to do that. But I always like to float that out there just to let you know. The other thing, I see you, Regina Shorts. The other thing I want to share with all of you, when I got onto our streaming service this morning, and Isaiah, I'm not for sure if you saw it as well, but there was a big blue banner on top that told us that the streaming services are having trouble with Facebook. So if you are finding it difficult to get in from Facebook, y'all better go on over to YouTube. It is youtube.com/Gail Dudley. So there's some streaming service connection that's going on with different streaming platforms and Facebook. So I always tell y'all, make sure y'all have the backup so you don't miss anything. And again, that is youtube.com/Gail Dudley. Y'all are still buying those color purple tickets if you're in Central Ohio, or if you want to come drive in, fly in, and hang out with us for the day. And if you decide to do that, let us know, because I'm going to at least give you the ticket to come into the movie. So, y'all, that is happening December the 9th. It is happening December 9th at 12 noon, showing at Crosswoods Theater, Marcus Theater. Tickets are $15. With through Eventbrite, you also get a fee with that as well. What's up, Davia? So, y'all have been buying those color purple tickets. They went on sale on Monday at noon, and y'all were sitting there waiting. We have, I think, less than 15 tickets left. We've rented out that entire theater, not just a place where we're going to be viewing the color purple. We get to see it 2 weeks early. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So you can go to Eventbrite. Isaiah, if you can put that up and put it also in the chat. There are tickets still available. Please, please, please grab those as soon as possible. I kept saying they'll sell out by Friday, and I think they really will sell out by Friday. So that's December the 9th at 12 noon, and we're so excited about that. And again, I have to say this because I've been working with this woman on other things. Latrice and I did black and white movie years ago, and I'm still working with the same woman. And then the Black Panther, and now we're doing the color purple. And trust me, y'all's merch bags are growing. I'm like, okay, now people are just sending us stuff saying, hey, we want to send you things. How many pieces do you need? We're like, we need 70. We need 70 because this theater will seat 70 people. So come hang out with us on that Saturday morning if you don't mind. All right, y'all. Next thing. Many of you have been asking about manuscripts and mimosas. It kicked off the first Friday of October. Well, the next live is coming up on November the 3rd, and you don't want to miss this. So if you have not subscribed, if you have not become a member of Manuscripts and Mimosas, you really want to do that. Our goal is to bring experts to the table. And believe me, I'm delivering experts to the table. Thank you, Isaiah. On November the 3rd, we have Margot Starbuck. I know her very well, who will be joining us. She is an expert who is a New York Times best-selling writer who has written more than 30 books and worked alongside publishers on hundreds of major publishing projects as writer, editor, and coach. She specializes in helping writers get published by equipping them to craft winning book proposals and books. The topic for November the 3rd will be discover how publishers think so that you can deliver what they want. She will dish out about what literary agents and publishers need to see in order to say yes. She's going to give y'all templates that you can use and put your proposal in. She's going to work through proposals with all of you. She's going to have a question answer time. It's going to be a great time. So join us on Manuscript and Mimosas. I see you, Kim Edmondson. I see you, Elizabeth Towns, coming in here as well. All right, y'all, there's still a need. Let's see, Deborah says, don't miss Manuscripts and Mimosas. I am not sharing my notes. It is the bomb. I gotta say it's the bomb. I do. The feedback from those who attended the first one are saying nothing but great things about it. So we're gonna see. And if you think that what's coming up on next Friday is the bomb, wait until December, because December we're going to have somebody coming in here talking about ghostwriting. And I want to share this with all of you. And this is a white woman telling me this, who's also a friend of mine, best-selling author as well, New York Times best-selling author. She says to me, she goes, Gail, don't you want to ghostwrite? And I was like, no, I don't want to ghostwrite from anybody. I'm just going to write for myself. She said, but there's a lot of money in there. She goes, there's so much money in there. She goes, that I find that I have a ton of Black and brown authors coming to me to ghostwrite their book, when I think this is a field for someone who's Black or brown to also gain that income so they too can be receiving the income from those who are wanting a ghostwriter. And I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So, but there's that. So we're going to be talking about that the first Friday in December. So y'all don't want to miss it. Okay. We're trying to bring you things you don't want to miss it. And again, stay on till the end. I'm telling you, this is hot off the press from the White House, and I'll be talking about it. So if you have any connection as an entrepreneur, small business owner, and you're Black and Latino, you want to wait till the end of News in Motion when I cover this. Before I go on any further, we're going to show you again a video for power the polls for poll workers. There's a need for poll workers, so check out this video.
Ready to help America vote? Working the polls on Election Day is a great way to strengthen our democracy right in your own community. Poll workers set up polling places, check in voters, and answer questions, and show us how to use voting machines. It's important. Any voter can file an application to become a poll worker, and most poll workers get paid. Because right now, America needs more election workers to volunteer. Learn more at helpamericavote.gov.
Make sure y'all check that out. Let me apologize too. Isaiah and I was talking about this. I am working today on a serious sinus headache. So if you see me drinking water, I'm just trying to stay hydrated to get through this segment. Listen, those of us who have this issue, we can't go from 40 degrees to 70. It doesn't work with our head. So I am feeling the pressure. So just forgive me. But I was like, Lord, get me through until like 8:15 so I can get this segment completed. Because I was about to come on here and say, News in Motion has been canceled. Elizabeth just hit that link and come on in here. Thank you, Kim Edmondson. So anyway, y'all, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken warned on yesterday that Washington would react swiftly and decisively if Iran or its proxy forces an attack on U.S. personnel. Yeah, I think Latrice Jones was talking about this 2 weeks ago, the concern of what could be happening there. So they're talking about the Middle East conflict in recent days by unleashing a regional militia that it has spent years arming. Now, NBC News confirmed that 24 American military personnel were wounded last week in a series of drone attacks at American bases in Iraq and Syria. One of the drones was shot down. All of the wounded personnel were returned to duty, U.S. Central Command said, and there was no damage to any military installations. Now, y'all, the Pentagon is now sending a terminal high altitude area defense to Saudi Arabia. Kuwait, they're talking about missile systems in Kuwait, Jordan, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. The systems are expected to be in place later this week, the official says. So all of that is happening. All of that is happening. So y'all, the House of Representatives, I don't even know what to call it anymore. I really don't. Now, they had probably one of the best ones who rose in the nomination, okay, yesterday. Earlier, and that would be Representative Tom Emmer. I told y'all about him. He was the only one. Well, two. Austin Scott was the other one that certified the election. Okay, so y'all, he's the House Majority Whip. Now let's just pause there for a moment. A whip means, especially when you are the majority whip, that you should be able to whip up votes without any trouble. He couldn't do that. That's very concerning, okay? So he was elected in their closed GOP conference, and he came out, but it took 5 nominee ballots for him to rise to the top, and he beat out Johnson by 20 votes. A few hours later, he dropped out. Why? Well, you know, the person who seems to still be in charge of this country, although he's not, came out, called him a rhino, gave him a thumbs down, and everybody started backing out. It's like, why does he have so much power? I'm trying to understand this. And I love the analogy that Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi shared on MSNBC last night with Chris Hayes. She said, imagine this. I was like, wow, that's just perfect. And I said, the whole world, there needs to be a video, a commercial with her saying this. She said, imagine this. the GOP conference uh, nominated someone to come to the floor to vote for speaker as their nominee. She says a 91 indicted man, where flip after flip after flip is happening in Georgia. Now, attorney number three, Jenna Ellis, yesterday has flipped and has a plea deal. And then we have Mark Meadows, who has immunity. And here he comes out of the former guy, comes out of the courthouse, out of the courtroom. And y'all gonna listen to him? Yeah, don't y'all see the writing on the wall? Like he's going down. It may be slow walking going down, but he's going down. Y'all gonna listen to him? Why does he still have that much power? So y'all voted down Tom Emmer. Okay, so y'all put up Mike Johnson. All right. So that seems like Mike Johnson came out. Already, he's not getting the 217. So he's supposed to come to the floor today around 9:30, and they're supposed to vote. But he doesn't have the votes. So what is really going on? Y'all, we're talking day 22 today without a speaker, which means the House of Representatives, they have become paralyzed. They can't do anything. And they won't empower McHenry. So the question is, what's really going on? What's really going on? Kim Edmondson said, this is not high school. Yeah, it's messy. Latrice says, someone said it's like trying to herd cats on a meta. What is that? I can't, y'all know I can't, I don't have my glasses. House of Chaos. Jackie says, I'm with you. And I can't see what else Jackie's saying either. Thank you for putting it up there. I'm with you, but that's how they're acting. It's just absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. How can this man hold a lot of influence and power? And here's the truth, y'all. We should be very concerned. Now, again, Emmer is the whip. He couldn't whip up votes. That's concerning. I see, if you can pop up Deborah Johnson, I'm sorry, I'm gonna grab my glasses in a moment. If you can pop up Deborah Johnson, Isaiah, that'd be great. She says, I keep hearing the Hamilton lyrics, you don't have the vote. That's true. What does Dr. Antoinette say? When someone would rather burn down the house rather than work or allow someone else to build it. There's that. So the question is, will they or won't they bring in Representative Mike Johnson of Louisiana? And then here's the other part of this. He is nominee number 5. Can you imagine that? I've gone through 5 different votes. People coming up here, taking a vote to the House floor, and I'm now number 5. That was seriously, what is really going on here? Yes, Kim Edmondson, is very concerning. Very concerning. And good morning, Jeff Prang. Good morning. How are you? Yeah, on top of all of that, we talked about strikes yesterday. Remember, I gave you a whole list of everybody striking. Like, there was a serious list. Someone wrote in from out of YouTube and said, I love the fact that you give us the information and tell us where you got it from, and you list it out one by one, and then you follow up with questions. So the man said, where have you been? And I just happened to stumble upon you, so I'll be tuning in regularly. So I just want to say welcome to you. I believe his name was, all I saw was Johnny. I don't know the rest of it. So Johnny, thank you for hanging out with us. I just love what I do. I think I responded to you already. But yeah, so we talked about strikes yesterday. And about 3 hours after we were off the air, we learned that the UAW said another 5,000 workers at a GM plant in Texas would go on strike. So there's that. And the New York Times was first to report that one. The union expanded the strike on the same day as the GM announced a 7% drop in its third quarter profit. And the UAW work stoppage has cost $800 million so far. So that is happening. Dr. Antoinette said, the bachelor in politics. Look. So y'all, I talked just a moment about Jenna Ellis. So now there are 3. Jenna Ellis, former Trump lawyer, pleads guilty in Georgia case. She was one of the ones who was extremely vocal when it came to Donald Trump's baseless claims of election fraud as a part of what she called, and I quote, the elite strike force legal team. How elite are you now? She pleaded guilty to the charge of aiding and abetting false statements and writings. Now, per the Washington Post, Jenna pleaded guilty to illegally conspiring to overturn Trump's 2020 election loss in Georgia, the third attorney associated with the former president to accept the plea deal. In her statement, and I know people have picked this apart already, but I want to have the opportunity to also pick it apart because I watched her cry and I'm sitting there like, why are you crying now? But anyway, as an attorney, this is a quote, as an attorney who is also Christian, I take my responsibilities as a lawyer very seriously, and I endeavor to be a person of sound moral and ethical character in all of my dealings. Stop, just stop, just stop. If that's the truth, and you start out by saying, as a Christian, you would not have dealt with these shenanigans anyway. I believe the Bible talks about the one who lies. Hello, somebody. And so you lying, and you still lying. You still lying. And then you didn't even accept responsibility. You wanted to blame other more long-term attorneys. Kim Evanson said her statement had me cry. I was like, what? Then she goes on to say, I believe that challenging the results on behalf of President Trump should be pursued in a just and a legal way. I failed to do my due diligence. Look, sister, I could Google this. Like seriously, I, we get statements. You had access to the electoral college. You had access to anything legal out there. So give me something better than that. She says instead, I relied on information that was provided by other lawyers and many more years of experience. If I knew then what I know now, I love what Ari did on MSNBC. He played a song by the Beatles that had those same lyrics. She said, I would have declined to represent Donald Trump in these post election challenges. Her final quote, I look back on this whole experience with deep remorse. No, girl, you got caught. You got caught. You got caught. You got caught. And Cheeseborough had decided to plead guilty, and Powell decided to plead guilty. So you had no choice but to plead guilty. Dr. Angela says, but they are not getting time. Put that back up there. Poor people get time for lesser crimes, but they are skating after conspiracy to overthrow the government. There you go. There you go. And that bothers me as well. Could we do even half of what they're doing and get off? Seriously. No, the answer is no to that. And then Adrian says, oh, stop with the crocodile tears. Listen. So there's that. Y'all, news was on fire yesterday. Then we got Mark Meadows. ABC News was the first to report. Yes, Lori, what a performance. Mark Meadows has spoken with special counsel Jack Smith's team at least 3 times this year, including once before the federal grand jury, which came only after Smith granted Meadows immunity to testify under oath, according to sources familiar with the matter. This is a direct quote from ABC News, again, who was the first to report. Now, the sources said Meadows informed Smith's team that he repeatedly told Trump in the weeks after the 2020 presidential election that the allegations of significant voting fraud coming to them were baseless. According to the sources, Meadows also told the federal investigator Trump was being dishonest with the public when he first claimed that they had won the election only hours after polls closed on November 3rd, 2020, before the final results were in. Now, according to Mark Meadows' book, he was stating in his book the election was stolen and rigged with help from allies from liberal media. But when I guess he realized what they had on him, he changed all that. He said he told the Smith investigators that to this day, he has yet to see any evidence of fraud that would have kept now President Joe Biden from the White House. And he told them that he agrees with the government assessment at the time that the 2020 presidential election was the most secure election in U.S. history. Yeah, you figured out. Here's my thing. Why would you keep lying to somebody? If they brought something before, as long as it has taken them to bring it before the federal court, don't you think they checked all this out? Didn't you read about Jack Smith, Mark? Like, seriously, Jack Smith doesn't play. The fact that he started walking down the street with his cup of coffee after he wrapped up everything before he filed all these suits, all these cases, you should have known them. I better backtrack this. So that's out there. Y'all, in other news, I'm telling y'all, news was off the chain yesterday. Meta Facebook parent company was slapped, y'all, with lawsuits from bipartisan groups of 42 state attorney generals yesterday that alleged the social media giant knowingly harmed teens and kids. A majority of the states, including Colorado, South Carolina, and Minnesota, filed federal lawsuits accusing Meta of targeting young people with addictive algorithm on Facebook and Instagram. Attorney generals in the District of Columbia, Mississippi, and Oklahoma, and 5 other states filed separate but similar state lawsuits against Meta. Florida, probably because they're Florida, they also filed, but they wanted to do theirs alone. Don't you know there's power in numbers? Come on, y'all. Y'all got to get with that. So they filed theirs on their own. So that's happening. So, y'all, Wall Street Journal reports that constant scrolling on apps like Instagram could be hurting young people's mental health. And this being what we consider Mental Health Month, October the 10th was Mental Health Day. They wanted to highlight this. And they're saying, according to several reports and warnings that have surfaced in the last few years, leaked slides from internal Meta study revealed that teen girls felt Instagram was damaging their body image. If y'all remember back in May, the U.S. Surgeon General issued a public advisory on social media that says it adds significant risk to kids' health. So, y'all, all of this is happening. So, as I've been telling you from the onset of today's show, this is hot off the press. And I want y'all to pay attention. This is from the White House. So if you are a small business owner, an entrepreneur, you have a side hustle, you want to check this out. And I read through this. I looked at all the notes. I did as much as I could by highlighting what I could. Y'all, this is on it. So, y'all, this is a fact sheet from Vice President Kamala Harris. And they're talking about investing in America. The Investing in America agenda continues to deliver for small businesses and provide economic opportunities throughout the United States. Y'all, this is dealing with contracting opportunities. Hello, y'all pay attention. Contracting opportunities for minority-owned businesses and underserved businesses at the Freedmen's Bank Forum. So, in her quote, she says, the bridge to financial disparities that holds so many of the communities back, we must continue to work together to combine the capacity of a private sector with the reach and the scale that only government can provide. When we do, we create opportunity and prosperity for millions of Americans. This is from, again, Vice President Kamala Harris. So they're talking about the importance and the benefits of an economic opportunity are shared equally. Now, I'm not going to get through all of this. So make sure you sign up for the free newsletter because I'm putting this in here, all 6 pages. I'm putting this in here. In there, and it'll come out Friday. That's the Friday rundown. You can go to gaildudley.com. A pop-up box will pop up. You put in your information. That just says that you're going to get these emails, not every Friday, but most Fridays. But information like this is always in there. So here's what's in here. 70 billion. That's with a B. Then an additional 12 billion. That's with a B. Then an additional 50 billion. That's with a B. So you got 70 billion, 12 billion, and 50 billion. You also have 80 billion increase to Black communities over the next decade. Hello. Did y'all hear that? I want to know if y'all heard that. What's up, Mac Nicholson? I want to know if y'all heard that. So we have 70 billion, 12 billion, 50 billion, and 80 billion. The 80 billion increase in giving to Black communities over the next decade. So this is for small businesses, contractors, side hustles, anything like that. So she says now Black and Latino entrepreneurs are starting new businesses at the fastest rate in more than a decade, while Black and Latino unemployment rates are near historic lows. So what's in here? A call to action to bring underserved communities and businesses into the domestic supply chain. Here's more money, $3 billion goal to increase corporate deposits into community finance institutions after surpassing $1 billion. More money, 75 million committed to connect rural communities to opportunities in investing in America agenda. Launch of 80 million investment fund to bridge small businesses to capital access programs. Catalyzing partnerships for low income communities to access Inflation Reduction Act credit programs. A new commitment to expand capital access to very small and historically underserved businesses. New federal goal to increase contract opportunities for small businesses. Over 20 million is available to empower under-resourced communities to access historic infrastructure spending. Historic funding for clean energy deployment and and pollution reduction in disadvantaged communities. Removing barriers to government-backed loans for entrepreneurs. These are loans you don't have to pay back. Kim Edmondson says, where can we access that document? It will be in the rundown on Friday of News in Motion, but just text me. I'll send it to you. Providing opportunities to easily increase lending in underserved businesses. Award energy innovators in underserved communities. Connecting minority-owned businesses to federal innovation ecosystem. Expand federal coordination on community investments with climate and clean energy programs. I just gave y'all the headlines. This is 6 pages full of information. This money is going to be available. Again, I got it hot off the press this morning. Great information in what you find right here on News in Motion. So the question is that I asked myself when I pulled this off. The question I ask is, how can we actually come to the table collectively and begin to apply for some of these things? How do we put together a form and let somebody from the White House come in and talk to us about it as to the best ways of completing these forms? Because we can have the information, but we have to go a step further to access this type of money. And I believe the power is in numbers of us coming together. So Hester, I think Hester's still on here. So Hester's talking about a hotel business. Well, how can Hester come on here? And then we have a construction worker come on here, or we have an interior designer come into that particular group, or we have a contractor come into that. So you're building that to help with this hotel. Kim Evanson said, that's why I love News in Motion. We love you too, girl. And so let's take Kim, let's take the Bronzeville King Lincoln district. Same thing. Everything we've talked about, how do we pull that in together? How do we pull in Al Edmondson and the barbershop and the great work he's doing in that area? How can Dr. Antoinette in that Maryland, DC, Virginia area, how can she bring people together in that area? Y'all, we have an opportunity to go after this. Y'all, that was a whole lot of billions that we have an opportunity to go after this. The thing is, we can't be greedy and just one person go after it. It has to be a collaborative effort, a partnership to come together and make this happen. But again, okay, we have this, but how do we access this? And that, I think, is the greater conversation that we need to have. What's up, Rodessa? Grand rising to you as well. So, y'all, I wanted to share this opportunity. You hear this right here on News in Motion. You hear stuff about the craziness of the speaker, but how often do you hear this on the other news sources and platforms? We have this here, and I'm excited to share this type of information with you. So again, if you have not signed up for our free e-newsletter, it comes out Fridays, the Rundown with Gail. We have a section in there from the White House. We link you right to all this information. We link you there, and you can have the opportunity to do that. I was invited to sit in this Congress with the oh God, what is it called? Something of the United States. The Copyright Office of the United States. I couldn't even think of it. And I was going through some of the misinformation and disinformation and how to find the facts. And it was a 2-hour session, but it was so refreshing to get down to. And I just want to share with so many of you, there's so much misinformation and disinformation that's out there that it's scary. It is scary. So make sure you're finding news sources that have gone through all the weeds to get to the basics and the truth and the facts of what's out there. Um, if you see one news source reporting something, let's say with Hamas or Israel, and they have one take on it, that may not be the take. Go see where you can find several people talking about the same thing. When it comes to education and things like this, you're usually going to find that like on a PBS news station or digital news outlet like News in Motion. Um, and even with Cuomo on 9 o'clock in the evening on News Nation, he usually brings out stuff like this as well. But there's very few of us that do that. So you have to determine your level of information that you would like to receive. What's up, Stephanie Burbridge Hall? All right, y'all. I have two other news articles. I won't go there. I want to go to the inspirational message now. Again, and y'all heard me tell Kim she can just text me and I'll send it to her. Well, if y'all have my text number, I'll send it to you too. So I'm not going to be biased or anything like that. But so I can y'all now talking about, well, she gonna send it to Kim, but I gotta go get it on the newsletter. Well, I have a relationship with Kim. I have a relationship with all of y'all, but I have a relationship with Kim. I can hang out with Kim at any time. So I want to make sure that I get it to all of you. So I don't want to ignore anybody. I'll send it to anybody who reaches, not unless you want to wait and get it on Friday. So y'all went back to Mark. I'm in Mark 6. And I want y'all to hear this because this one kind of like woke me up. And I went back to chapter 6. And I'm looking at 1 through 13. I may not get to all of that this morning or not. But it was interesting to read this because I see the story of Jesus in verses 1 through 5. And he reminds all of us, if we really read this and receive it, and this is going to be a hard word, but I want to share this with you, that friends and families will not understand the anointing on your life. They just can't understand it. They can't. They love you. They try to connect, but they just can't understand it. They cannot see or accept it. Now, all they want to know is what they know. They want to remember you when. They want to remember you when you needed them. They want to remember you when you were, doing okay, but maybe not doing better than them. And I'm just reading this like, wow, this is just all deep. So I started just taking notes because y'all know I pray first before I start transcribing and writing down what God is speaking. So they will also opt to not see it, even if they can see it, because they don't want to believe it. No, they don't want anything to be special about you. And I was like, God, why are you showing me this? Why'd you take me back to Mark 6? And pretty much he slapped me in my face and said, because you kind of like skipped over it the last time I told you to share it. And he goes, and I want you to share it because some people are struggling right now because of their gifting, because of their anointing, because of their advancement. And they're trying to understand why people aren't receiving them, even in their own household. And this is why. So if you're struggling with this, y'all go to Mark chapter 6 and look at verses 1 through 5. But then verse 6 through 13, where he says 2 is better than 1. And then I wrote my notes down to let the naysayers go, shake off the dust from your feet when you leave as a testimony against them. So when you're reading that scripture, you see that. And then I said, use this today moving forward to release yourself of evildoers. So just shake it off. And I know sometimes it's difficult to shake these things off, but you have to shake it off if you want to survive. If you want to keep breathing fresh air, you got to shake it off. You have to. If not, it's going to consume you. It's going to become toxic, and it's going to take longer for you to detox and get rid of all of those things. Y'all, living in this freedom has opened up my eyes to a whole lot of stuff. Mike Nicholson says, You've been in my post, Gail Dudley. I really haven't, except for that one you had me laughing about the children being little monsters. But anyway, Lori says, "Amen." Thank you, because I cannot read this. Amen. And look, I did grab my glasses. They want to, they make, Amen. I'm gonna keep going, but God especially gives it to you so they can't understand it and try to stop or discourage you because they can't see it. You have to move forward. You have to. You have to. So then I want to go on to the next part where I say this, and this is where I'll sign off. Watch, be careful who you give access and promises to. Y'all got to read this for yourself. Be careful who you are impressed with. So, even going back to this whole meta piece, be careful who you are impressed with. I was watching this reel the other day, and this was a woman who was having a women's conference. You may have seen it. And she had invited a speaker to come. And she said the woman's always like riding around in Range Rover. She's always promoting herself for $1 million homes and on private jets and everything. So she kept reaching her because she wanted this woman to come to her conference and speak at her conference. Well, when she gets to in contact with the woman says, well, I need to be honest with you. She says to the lady who's requesting her to speak at her conference, she says, right now I'm at a friend's house on their sofa because I'm facing eviction and homelessness, and I don't really have the money. So I don't know where I'll be in a few months. So I can't even promise you that I can come to your conference. And the woman in this reel says she was shocked. Like, what? Like, I just saw you coming out of a jet. Well, those are all stage pictures, stage images. See, y'all, we are allowing social media to tell us something that's not true. And we're idolizing. Some of us are idolizing these people. And we want to get there and we're like, I can do this too. But it's not real. Now, some they are really doing it. They are really doing a thing. Some are using that as a platform to get you to come and buy their program for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, but they don't even have $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. They need you to give $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to continue to pay their rent and their car notes and so forth. Don't fall for the trap. So, y'all, Mark 6, I'm telling you, it gave me a whole new meaning. And I've read this so many times, but this time it was different. So take time today to write down your actual accomplishments and celebrate your wins, but also look at the places where you think, and again, hear me, where you think you have lost, and see how far God has brought you. Because maybe that loss was only to prepare you and to build you up for what is next. All right, y'all. Y'all know what I say. Stay well, everyone. And remember to make some bold moves and live your life in your abundance, the abundance that Jesus has given to you. We're out.
NewsInMotion.